fast, you refeed, and then as long as you hydrate yourself, you're not going to die.
Right.
So it's like getting off drugs. That's how he put it.
Okay.
And I had tried that, and I did lose about 20 pounds in 3 days. But then as soon as I fed, it went back. And I think that fasting like that, it was not convenient for me because I had to cook for my children. I have small children, although I'm this old, you see all this gray hair, but I'm 49 years old. I have a 10 and an 11-year-old and a 2-year-old grandson. So I had to cook for them constantly, And then my husband, he's 6 years older than me. He's a veteran, and right now he just had surgery. So I had to do all these things, and my family right now is under a lot of stress because I have severe deformative arthritis on my knees, and I'm not able to move the way I used to. So I was telling Miss Sosa that I had to go to the bathroom. If you can see that door right there in the back, that's the bathroom. By the time that I get there, I feel like I'm dying because I'm out of breath.
Right.
Because I probably weigh more than 400 pounds now. The last time I went to the doctor, I weighed 395, I believe, 3 months ago. But I feel like I'm heavy because I see the difference in my clothes, putting it on, it don't fit the same and everything. And 2 years ago, before I moved here, I was living in Chester, South Carolina, and I used to work for a volunteer at a clinic where I translate between the doctors and the nurses and the patients, Spanish to English and stuff. And I used to be a lot more active than now. Mm-hmm. And my knees did hurt. They didn't hurt this much, but now I'm barely able to move. And I think that's my problem, not being able to move as much because the pain literally make me cry. If I had to choose between me moving to the kitchen to go get something to eat and go hungry, I'd rather go hungry because I don't want to hurt.
Right.
My father died 3 years ago. He was 105 when he died. He was a vegetarian. And he taught me a lot of stuff about vegetables and stuff like that. And I really thought he was kind of loony, not like that, because my father was my father and he was a very strong-willed man. But I wish I would have listened to him because probably I would be a lot better, So yeah, I need all the help that I can get.
Okay. Did Joey tell you how much weight she's lost since she's been working together?
Yeah, I've seen the picture too. It's amazing.
Oh, she's sending out pictures too. Wow. She's on the ball. Yeah, so I believe in the fasting. I don't think you have to go extreme with going for 3 days, 7 days, or anything. I believe you do have to fast. I believe everybody should fast. I fast too. Shorter periods of time. Like most of the people, Jovi does 24 hours sometimes, but most of the times it's only 16 hours. And then you refeed for 8 hours. But the refeeding is extremely important because when you haven't eaten for that long, as soon as you do put something in your body, your cells just absorb it up. So if you're eating junk food, your cells are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So our cells, we lose about 300 billion cells per day. So 300 billion new cells are produced every day. So your cells replicate each other. But if you keep giving your body bad food, the new cells are not going to be any healthier than the old cells. So we have to reverse that around. And it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay. It's not going to happen overnight. This is Joey's been doing it for almost 2 years now. So I'm not going to promise that you're going to lose 50 pounds in a week. The pounds that you did lose while you were fasting is water weight. That's why you regained it all when you did refeed. Put it in the water, and it's just water weight. It's not fat. I mean, some of it would be fat. When you lose weight, you lose muscle, you lose fat, and you lose water. So most of it in the condition that you're in is going to be water. Okay. The weight that you're carrying is maintaining the muscle mass on you. So I would encourage you to move as much as you can. I know it hurts. That's because you have 400 pounds going between your joints, and your bones are you're probably having arthritis. You're probably losing cartilage between your joints in your knees because of the pressure of the weight. So once I
don't have no more cartilage in my knees. My bones, my knees are completely shattered, and the doctor wonders how I still move.
Right. So that's going to be a problem for quite some time. Even after you lose the weight, you probably have to go through they have new procedures out there where they put like a cushion in between your knee joints, your femur and your tibia, so that it's not, if it's bone on bone, you're hurting. So there's supposed to be cartilage in between there. So say the pen is the cartilage, you're gone. There's no more cartilage. So what they do is they replicate that cartilage with a foam piece of plastic. So maybe that would be an option for you later on after we get the weight off of you. So number one is getting the weight off. The fasting. Give me an example of what you're eating right now.
Right now, I'm ashamed because I'm really bad.
Okay.
I don't eat breakfast. Like right now, I haven't eaten breakfast yet. I drink a cup of mint tea, and because I had low sugar last night, I had to put sugar in my tea. This is what it is. I take insulin. I'm supposed to take 3 times a day insulin when I eat, and then I had to take another insulin when I wake up and another one when I go to bed. So that's 5 shots of insulin a day that I had to take. That's 80 units every time.
So you're doing 80 units times 5, so you're doing 400 units a day?
Uh-huh. But this is the thing. And then I use this. I was going to show you right here. I put it somewhere. I use Victoza, which is a booster for the insulin, because I've been doing this for a long time. The first time that they put me on insulin was when I was pregnant with my first daughter. I use this, which is the booster for the insulin. And she's 11 now. And after I gave birth to my daughter, I had to stay in insulin because my body has adjusted to it. And then my sugar was not manageable after without the insulin. So I had to stay on the insulin. And what it is that I get up and I start doing things, like I said, I have 2 girls to get ready for school and stuff like that. So I'm not thinking about eating or anything, but helping them and doing the stuff that I need to do. And I'm supposed to, test my glucose level and take the insulin and stuff, but I don't do that. Only until I'm going to bed the next day is when I start feeling that my sugar is high, because I have to go to the bathroom a lot. My sugar is high, so I had to go pee a lot. And I noticed, I remember, I had to do the insulin. So then I go and test my sugar, and it's like last night it was like 430 something. So then I had to go and do the insulin. I do the Victoza, and then I do the Lantus, and then I do the Novolog. And what I do is, if my sugar is 343, I put 350 units in my body of insulin, combining the 2 of them, so I can stop going to the bathroom, and then I can sleep through the night. But around 2:30, I start having low sugars. I begin to, I feel my left hand goes numb, and it won't, I shake it and it won't, I can't shake it off. So I know my sugar is low, because before I used to have the shakes and stuff, but that doesn't happen no more. I know my left hand goes numb, and that's my sugar is low. So I eat raisins, so whatever, has sugar at that moment, so I can, and it doesn't stay up. I go back to sleep, and I have to wake up again at 6 in the morning to get my girls ready for school. And then I wake up and I notice that my hand is starting to go numb again. So my sugar, I know, is low, and it's probably like 55 or so. So I get since it's cold in the morning, I get a cup of tea and I put some sugar in it, and then I feel fine. And then if I get a hold of something to eat, if my grandson comes and he tells me I'm hungry, then I eat with him something. He regularly is probably like eggs and grits, or maybe if he asks me for chicken nuggets, I'll give him that, and I pick on that, but I won't eat a meal. If you understand what I'm saying. I will eat a meal if my husband and I have to go somewhere and he said, well, I'm hungry and I gotta go something, and I want a hamburger, but I guess I eat that too. And then in the evening around 6 o'clock, I prepare, meals for my daughters. For example, it could be like beef stew, or maybe I feel like chicken salad, or, spaghetti, and a normal kind of meal. It's nothing specifically or special, that is going on. But yeah, there's snacks in the house. I'm not gonna lie. We have corn chips and like yesterday they wanted pizza, so my husband bought them pizza. And I don't like pizza. I hate pizza. I ate 2 slices, but I hate pizza with a passion. So if I can choose, that would be my meal that it could disappear forever. But I ate because there was nothing else to eat, if you understand what I'm saying. I can eat it, but if I had to choose, I will never choose that.
Okay.
And that's all I ate really, my tea or my coffee, and then whatever I pick on, for example, and then I just eat whatever meal I cook for the evening, or like I said, the 2 slices of pizza, and then I go to bed. Put the insulin on, drink something and go to bed. Water, how much water I drink? I don't drink that much water. Now when it's the winter. In the summer, yeah, but right now, no, because I'm so cold and I don't feel compelled to drink a lot of water. And if I drink water by itself, it makes me throw up because I never have liked water. So I use this. It's like the Walmart version of Crystal Light. I put it in the water so I can have some flavor in the water. If not, I can't drink it.
All right. So you're doing what the doctors have been telling you all along. So you're doing it in reverse, and it's not your fault. It's because, and I kind of blame it on the doctors, but I don't blame it on the doctors because that's the way that they're trained. They learn in school to medicate you. That's how they make their money. They don't make their money off of healthy people, and they don't make their money off of dead people. So it's the sick people. So once you get sick, they will keep you on those drugs forever. So a good doctor will try to get you off the drugs as quickly as possible. Okay. So all along, all these years listening to the doctor, and this is the same problem as what my adopted father had. He died from type 2 diabetes. I'm sure you're aware of the complications that come along with it. With 75% of diabetics die from heart attacks. They have kidney failure, so they go on dialysis. So he was on dialysis. He had both legs amputated because of gangrene. He was 95% blind. It was all because of sugar. And he listened to his doctors. He wouldn't listen to me or any natural doctors that are out there. An MD would be the last person I would go to for health concerns. I would go to a DO, which is the doctor of osteopathy, or an NP, which is a natural pathologist. So those are the doctors that I would go to. MDs, all they're trained for is two things: how to perform surgery and how to prescribe medications. That's the only things they go to school for. They have one class in nutrition, and that's it. So they don't know anything. They know very little about nutrition unless they go off on their own and learn it on their own. But inside the school, they're not taught any of this stuff. Okay. So you're going in at reverse. You're feeding your insulin. You're telling me that you're taking all this insulin, 80 units, 400 and some odd units throughout the day, and then you're fine until nighttime. In the middle of the night, your sugar level drops. And your sugar level drops because you haven't eaten to support all that insulin. So your insulin level, I believe, needs to be reduced. And I can't do that because I'm not a doctor, and I can't tell you to do that. What I can say, my job is to give you information so that you can have a better discussion with your doctor, okay? And explain to him what I'm telling you of why, and then maybe if he's a good doctor, he'll consider that, and then he'll work with you. If he does not want to work with you, you need to find a different doctor. He's a horrible doctor if he doesn't want to work with you. If all he wants to do is give you medication, send you off on your way, that is not a good doctor.
She don't, because I had tried to talk to her about the snake diet and told me, no, you just have to stick with what I tell you and do, what you need to do. And I don't have insurance, so I go to the, the normal clinic that you got to pay $30 every time you go, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not old enough, although I have all these medical conditions, and my husband is a veteran. We don't make a lot of money, but what he makes is like about 25 more cents over the limit, so I can get Medicaid. So it's really crazy.
The government, I know, definitely doesn't work with you. One of our members, she's same situation. She goes to those kind of doctors also because she doesn't have very much money. She got off all her medications within a year, and she's still technically a diabetic because her A1C is still at a 6.9. So we need to get that below 6.5 for her to be.
Oh, mine is higher than that. Mine is probably like 8 right now.
Oh, well, that's not bad. I mean, hers was at 12, I believe, right, Jovi?
Well, my doctor wants me to make it to 5. She wants me to be 5.
5.6 is normal, but 5 is fine too. So I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is how from what you told me, how she's going about treating you. Okay. She's not treating you to help you get healthier. She's treating the disease to hopefully not get any worse, but it never ever not gets worse. It
Exactly.
worse and
Yes.
worse and
No,
worse.
no, yeah.
So,
Not towards getting off medication, no.
okay. Maybe at the hospital you can ask for a different doctor, because this one doesn't sound, or maybe Joey can tell you how Lupe did it, because Lupe, I don't know if she went to different doctors. Lupe was not telling her doctors what she was doing. And they were just like baffled how she got off all her medications and reversed her disease. So I know it can work. Everybody is different. So what took her only a year to do, it might take you 5 years to do, or it might take you a year to do, or even less. I don't know. It's different for everybody. But what you're telling me is that you're feeding your disease. Every time you take the insulin, and I'm not saying don't take the insulin, you do need insulin
Yeah.
from you, but you're taking too much from what I'm hearing from you too. So what you're doing is you're feeding yourself. You're actually feeding so that you have to keep taking insulin. So when your blood sugar level comes down, you eat sugar, and then you have to take more insulin because of that sugar. And then the blood sugar level comes down, and you have to take sugar so that you can take more insulin. So it's a vicious cycle that you're in right now. And I understand it, because most people are. It's just going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of willpower from you. You have to be very disciplined, like your father, from what you said. You have to have a reason why you're doing this, and you have to have a really, really strong reason, because when you want to quit, you can look. In fact, when I have everybody write down the reason why, when you want to quit, bring out that piece of paper of why you're doing this in the first place, and that'll set you back on course again. Everybody will fall off the wagon for a little bit, but they come back on. Okay, the difference between a winner and a loser is that the loser stays down, the winner comes back up. So you have to force yourself if you want to get better. You're only 49, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at
40?
49. Oh, yeah.
That's half a century. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm kind of old now.
You know what? 50 is the new 40. So the reason why you don't believe me is because you're in a lot of pain, and I understand that. And you're sick, and that brings your spirits down, and it brings your emotions down, and it makes you sad. And I understand that. So I wrote a book, and in the book, I deliberately gained a bunch of weight because I wanted to show the health deterioration that happens as you gain weight. And then when I got to a certain point that during that time, I was wearing sweats all the time. I refused to buy new clothes. So I was like trying to squeeze into a suit for a wedding, and I couldn't sit down because the pants would have busted open. So I had to stand, and it's uncomfortable, and I was sad, and I was starting to get depressed. So I understand the emotional side on this also. So when you start losing the weight and start feeling better, your sadness will go away. Your depression, if you have that should go away as well.
I do.
So, okay. So, and some of our members were on antidepressants as well, and you got off that, right, Joby? From what I remember.
Yes, Lupe was on depressant pills, and she's off of them already.
Okay. So your physicality has a huge impact on your emotional sense. So if we can get your physicality back to a better state, your mental state will get back to a better place also. Okay. So the first place that I would start is I would go back to the fasting. And it's going to take a lot of willpower, and it's going to be really hard for you because you're cooking for everybody. And when you're around that food, it's so easy, because my brother is a chef, and he's always told me, never trust the skinny chef. So he's always like taking a bite here and there. He never has a full meal either, because he's always like taking a bite like every 5 minutes, tasting food and everything. So he never really has a meal until he sits down with his fiance at nighttime. Same thing as you. So when the food is there, it's very easy. And it's very hard for you because you have the kids and they want the junk food. But if you want to do them a service, you'll cut back on that junk food. Otherwise, they're going to follow your footprints. They say that obesity is contagious. And what they mean by that is that you become a byproduct of your environment. So if
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you see your mom and dad eating certain foods, that's what you eat. And then you follow their footprints with your health as well. So let's try to break that cycle for you and for your kids.
My daughter is already, going to the endocrinologist because she has the darkness around her neck,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and she's very dark around her neck. It's like it looks like she don't take a shower. Like she hasn't bathed in her because she's so dark right here. My husband is African American. He's black, and my daughter and I'm Mexican, so they're mixed. But my daughter is a little dark, but right here is just so dark on her, and she suffers from early puberty symptoms. Her hands are a little bigger. She's a little taller than her older sister, and her ovaries are larger. And they have her on a medication so they can slow down the growth. And she's overweight. She already has a belly. She wants to eat all the time, all the time, all the time. And it is important for me to get in track with something because I want to help her to get better. She's my concern. One of my concerns. She is my concern.
Okay. So what happens when you eat foods? There's three macronutrients. It's fat, protein, and carbohydrates.
Mhm.
So the diet that doctors have you on is a high carbohydrate diet because you have to take the insulin. But again, you're eating a lot of carbohydrates to feed the insulin to keep you on insulin. So we need to reverse that around. So what happens with your body when you eat carbohydrates? Your insulin level, your blood sugar level goes very, very high, very, very quickly. So your body needs to make a lot of insulin to get that blood sugar back down to normal again. Okay. When you eat protein, it comes up at a slower pace and comes down at a slower pace. What this means is that you're going to feel you're going to feel full for a longer period of time, because once the insulin level comes back down to base level, you're hungry again. So your daughter, from what you said, is hungry all the time. It's because the carbohydrates come up and they come right back down to baseline about every 2 to 3 hours. So she's probably hungry every 2 or 3 hours, right?
She's hungry all the time. Not all the okay. My daughter she go to school, right? She goes at 7:15. She eats breakfast when she goes to at the time that she gets out of the car, she goes to the cafeteria, she eats breakfast. Then she goes to her class. She at 11:30 or 12, she got lunch. She get out of school at 2:30. And as soon as she walks in the door, she's looking for something to eat. And I
Yeah.
get upset, but I don't show it to her. I said, baby, don't look for something to eat right now. You ate at 12. Wait until we eat dinner. But I'm hungry. And even if it has to be a leaf of lettuce or whatever, she has to put something in her mouth.
Okay. Some of it can be, part of it is, it's just what I just said. It's about every 2 to 3 hours that she's hungry. So if she ate lunch at 12:30, she gets home at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, she's hungry again, 3:30, somewhere around there, right? So it's because of the carbohydrates. That's how it goes up very quickly and goes down very quickly. So if she does want to eat, and part of this might be a learning trait where it's a habit. It's just a habit to go in and get something to eat all the time. So that could be part of it as well. But let's focus on the food side. So she wants to eat something, no junk food, no cookies, no crackers, no potato chips, none of that stuff, because that's just going to make her hungry again. So give her something with protein and fat. Remember, the protein is going to make you feel fuller for a longer period of time, and fat makes your insulin level go up almost nothing. So fat loss lasts a very long time in you. So if you feed her protein and fat, she'll feel fuller for a longer period of time, and she won't eat as much. Plus, she can't eat as much with that. Okay. Protein is extremely important throughout your entire life, especially when you're a kid, because your body is growing. So that's what our body is made of. Everything in our body, our organs, our blood, our bones, our hair, our nails, everything is made of protein. So your body needs protein for it to function properly. Plus, protein makes you burn fat, which is our number one goal. Your number one goal, and it sounds like your daughter's number one goal, is you need to burn fat. As you get older, protein doesn't digest as well for everybody, for me, for Jovi, for everybody, as you get older. So you need more protein. When they tell you to only take 15%, I don't know if you've seen a dietitian or a nutritionist, they're all governed by the same guidelines what doctors have to follow, which means that they don't intentionally want to keep you sick, but they follow the guidelines that are recommended by the pharmaceutical industry, because the pharmaceutical industry governs the entire healthcare system, and they want everybody to be on as many drugs for the rest of their lives. So
Okay,
we
yeah.
need to break that by getting educated. And that's what I'm trying to help you with here. So we have to fight it. It's going to go against what you have been taught your entire time and what your doctor is going to be saying to you. From what I hear, your doctor is not going to want to hear anything about it. So if you can, try to find a different doctor. So start eating more protein and more fat, more cheese, olives, any kind of meat, not sausages, because those cause pancreatic cancer. So
Oh, I didn't know that, because we eat a lot of sausage.
Yeah,
You mean like the sausage that you like, the sausage patties and the link sausage and the sausage that you, none of those. Oh
that's
my gosh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm writing down.
99% of the bacon that's out there should not be eating. So when you
Oh,
look at food labels in the back of the package of what's in there, when you see, like, for example, turn around the bacon, like Oscar Mayer, I know that they have it. So you turn around the package, look at what's inside it. It'll say sodium nitrate. That's a carcinogen that causes cancer. A carcinogen is a substance that causes cancer. So people that eat a lot of sausages and bacon with the sodium nitrate in it, they get pancreatic cancer. And the problem with pancreatic cancer is that it's hard to detect until you're at stage 4, and then usually you die within 6 months to a year. It's very, very quick, and they don't diagnose it. So you might be a stage 3 right now. I don't know. You have to get tested. You would only be able to find out if you got tested. But my recommendation highly is to get off all that stuff. So eat real food. Anything that's processed, anything that comes in a package, in the refrigerator, in the grocery stores, stay away from. Okay, you can go to the butcher. You can get any meat you want at the butcher. So you get any kind of what. And I guess I had to limit this also. And I know that you're on a strict budget, so this is going to be also difficult. But if you get beef, you have to get grass-fed beef, because the beef that is the cheap stuff, it's making you sicker and sicker. Your daughter, you said, is going through premature puberty. I forget the term you use, but she's developing sooner than she should be, correct?
yes, and the thing is, she weighs like, oh my gosh, she weighs, I'm not gonna say almost 200 pounds, but she weighs a lot more than she should weigh for a
Okay.
10-year-old.
Okay. Yeah, and this is very normal from everything I've heard with doctors and everything that I've researched, is the cheap meat that you eat, that you buy at the grocery store. They feed these animals hormones and steroids and antibiotics and corn. A cow, like I said last night, a cow is not designed to eat corn. It's designed to eat grass, and that's how its digestive system works to make it energy. Corn makes them fat very, very quickly. And they want that because they want their cows to grow as quickly as possible, as fat as possible, so they make more money off the weight of the cow. So they want that they want the cow to go to the slaughterhouse as quickly as possible. So they feed it corn. Grass-fed, the way that a cow is supposed to eat, will still have some fat, but not nearly as much. And the quality of the fat is going to be much higher. Now, I don't want to get into all the science behind all this stuff because it'll take too long and I don't want to confuse you. I want to keep this as simple as possible. When you buy beef, for example, get grass-fed beef.
Okay.
It'll say it right on the label.
Okay, I'm writing down. What about the pork? Because my husband is gonna hate me when I tell him don't eat bacon. Because see, I go to the market and I buy the stuff. He goes with me, but he asked me if he's not agreeing with something. He asked me, why are you not buying this or why are you buying that? So then I will let him know, well, because, and he knows I'm doing this. Let me tell you, his brother invited him to eat breakfast. He's on IHOP right now. And I was going to go with him, but I remember, I said, I have this meeting with this person. I said, I'm not going to go with you. So he said, okay, so when he comes back, he expects me to have a different frame of mind. So he's gonna have he better knows that he's gonna go through hell, because if I had to go through hell, he doesn't have to go with me.
and it's only fair, right? You guys are
Exactly. I mean, he enjoyed making them girls. He better enjoy not eating with me.
Yeah, and it sounds like your husband needs to lose some weight as well. So, and he may not be, I don't know if he's diabetic or not, but I'm sure it sounds like he's overweight as well.
He takes 10 medications plus insulin too. So he does. I only take 3 medications. He takes 10. That's cholesterol, blood pressure, aspirin, vitamin. I mean, whatever.
While you're on the vitamin, while you go to the store, buy some vitamin D, D3. D is in dog.
D3. Okay.
The reason behind that is because there's speculation out there that vitamin D is a big reason for type 2 diabetes. Vitamin D is really a hormone. Your body converts it into a hormone. It's not really a vitamin. So
Okay.
it has effect throughout your entire body. And there's so many diseases like type 2 diabetes, arthritis, cancer, all these things vitamin D is linked to. The darker your skin is, the less vitamin D your body produces. So like me, I'll or than Hispanic. Hispanic will produce more than an African American. This is why African Americans have a lot of blood pressure, a lot of diabetes. Diabetes is number one in African American society, then Hispanics, then Asians. And do you see how it's starting to go? Darkest
Yeah,
to
according
lightest.
to the color of the skin. Yeah, okay.
Right. So vitamin D, start bumping that up. I would take, I'm not really allowed to say how much to take. Personally, what I take is I take 5,000 units a day. So you have to look at the
You're
bottle.
healthy. So would that be a considerable amount for anybody, anybody to take per se?
So when I thought that I had COVID, I took 50,000 units per day.
Okay.
And I only did that for 3 days. I don't do that every single day. Every single day I'll take about 5,000 units. One thing that you can risk into that Jovi experienced also is because vitamin D is fat soluble. That means fat soluble means that you need to eat food with it for it to absorb, but it also stores in your body. Okay, so you can overdose on vitamin D. Okay, so there's a line on that. So thankfully, Jovi got that tested. I would have never guessed a Hispanic would have been high in vitamin D, but she was. So that's another test you might want to get done. But I feel that for me personally, at 5,000 units a day is fine. And I'm Caucasian, so my skin is much lighter, so I can absorb more from the sun on that. Okay. Mushrooms have vitamin D also, but it has vitamin D2. D2 doesn't absorb as well as D3, but at least it's something, it's a food that you can add to your diet that'll help out with the vitamin D.
We love mushrooms.
Okay.
Good. Fresh mushrooms.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. What about pork? Because I know you say grass-fed beef. What about pork? Because my husband loves pork, and he will not eat a meal if you don't have meat.
Okay, and I'm like that.
I can eat vegetables and I don't need to eat meat, but he has to have meat.
I would recommend you to start eating more meat too. Like I said, protein doesn't absorb very well as we get older. Protein is the building block of your body. They're also showing that protein will help keep up muscle mass. You have a lot of weight on you, so you have to it takes muscle to move you. And I say that only because I had a client who was also 400 pounds. And we got her, she was Italian. She was doing well with what we were doing. She lost 62 pounds in like 3 months. Her knees weren't hurting anymore. She was able to move around. We did a body fat composition on her to find out how much body fat she had. She had 50% body fat, which is huge, but I would have thought it was a lot more than that. But she was 50% body fat. That means a normal person should be at about 25, 20%, somewhere around there.
Wow, okay.
So if you're 400 pounds and you're 50% body fat, that's 200 pounds of fat on you. Okay, so let's make this really simple. You're not going to die. Like the other guy told you, when you're fasting, you're not going to die. The only thing you have to worry about is your blood sugar levels. So we need to watch those. So when you're fasting, what happens is that when you're not eating, there's 2 types of food: the food that you eat and the food that your body stores, and that's called body fat. Okay, so, and it's designed to be there. We've been like that from the beginning of time because we haven't eaten like the way that we eat today. We have never eaten in the 8 million years that we've existed on this planet. We have never eaten like this until the last 20, 25 years. Okay, there's always been feast or famine. I'm sure you heard that phrase before. Okay, you don't eat for sometimes they didn't eat for 2 weeks. But then when you found food, they would eat and eat until they couldn't eat anymore. And then their body stored all this fat. And the reason behind that is because when you couldn't eat, your body used that stored fat to keep you alive. Okay.
Yeah.
We neglect that now because we're in a world of convenient foods. We're in a world of everything tastes good because so many chemicals and sugars put it in everything, and it's destroying us. So we need to reverse that. So going back to the body fat, why you're not going to die is because, let's make it this very simple. Say you weigh 100 pounds. And let's say that you're only 10% body fat. That means that you only have 10 pounds of fat on you, right? Are you following me so far? Okay.
Yes.
So there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of body fat, 3,500. So if you have 10 pounds of body fat, 3,500 times 10 is 35,000. That means you have about 10 days of, or even 15 days of food in you that you don't need to eat for 15 days. You'll stay alive because you had the body fat stored in you.
I got years in. Okay.
So if you're 400 pounds and you're 50% body weight, that's 200 pounds times 3,500. That's 700,000 calories that your body has. So you can live a year without eating.
Jesus, yeah.
And the longest anybody has ever gone fasting without eating was 438 days. He was also extremely obese, but he had doctors working with him, and that gets too complicated. So you do need to fast. Fasting for 438 days, I wouldn't recommend right now.
No.
So let's start off with something that you can do. Start off, if you can do 16 hours per day, do that. Have your dinner.
Okay, I had to ask you this question right now before I forget. When you fast like per se, like towards the evening, and the time that you sleep count like fasting, or you fast through the day? Because I was in this group on Facebook that is called Now One More Diet, and he has a protein that he sells of his own brand. And he tells you, like you said, eat protein with your breakfast. You eat a lot of eggs with a lot of cheese and drink your protein at the same time. And then try not to eat after 6:30 or 7, and eat your 3 meals. And if you feel anxiety in the night, we want to drink protein again, and then fast, intermittent fast. But I'm not understanding, what is not clear in my head is, what counts like fasting? Does the time that you sleep count as fasting? How
Yes.
do you fast correctly?
Fasting that's why it's easiest to have your meal at nighttime, and then you're fasting while you're sleeping. So you can't eat while you're sleeping, right? So anytime, right now, you're fasting. So if you put something in your mouth right now, you're not fasting anymore. When you stop eating, you're fasting again. So fasting, all that means is lack of food. Okay. When you don't have any food in your mouth, you're fasting. So and I agree with him. Stop eating at about 6 o'clock. I stop eating at about 6:30, somewhere around there. And then I don't eat again until about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock the next morning. But I'll do my workout before so that I can take advantage of my body burning fat. So during this whole time, if you're not eating, your body has to use fat for energy. And don't be surprised if your blood sugar level goes up while you're fasting, because what happens is that your body takes fat out of the fat cell and it converts it into energy. Part of that energy is going to be glucose. So if glucose is in your system, insulin has to go up to get that glucose out of your system and into your cells. So even if you're not fasting, your blood sugar, your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels are going to go up. Okay. So if you do this in this fasting, you need to be from all that. That's a lot of insulin. And as you said, your blood sugar levels are dropping. It's because you have too much insulin. So I would recommend you go to your doctor as quickly as possible. Tell them that you're going to be doing a 16/8 fasting. If they know anything about this stuff, they know to get you to reduce the insulin level. One of our members, she started maybe about 2 months ago. She's already off half her medication. But she's working with a doctor who's working with her. She told him what she's doing, and he reduced her insulin levels that she has to take in. Okay, so that's extremely, extremely important, because if your blood sugar levels drop below 70, then you start getting the shakes and you start getting dizzy and you start getting the numbness and everything that you were talking about. So your body is designed to be within a very narrow range of blood sugar, and it needs to stay there at all times. If it goes below, it's health problems, and if it goes above, you have health problems. So you need to stay in that range. Okay. So how many times do you prick yourself and finger stick yourself to check your blood sugar?
Well, I do it in the morning, but since like the days when I have days like this, I just do it at nighttime. But
Okay.
I usually do it like when I have the time or when I get the window, I do it in the morning when I wake up and I send the girls to school, which it will be about 8:30, and then I do that. And according to like if I test my sugar right now, I don't know how much it will be. I can do it. But
Yeah. When's the last time you ate?
yesterday, oh, I had to eat some raisins in the middle of the night because I was like 52.
Yeah, we need to break you out of that habit. And to do that is to get that insulin level down, the injections of insulin down.
I told my doctor that I was gonna start the fasting, and she told me she don't recommend that because fasting, nobody has a lot of experience on that, and she really don't believe that that is healthy. So just eat wheat and stuff, but wheat is still carbohydrate, and my body's
Yeah.
not gonna know if it's wheat or white. It's the same thing.
And you're
So
exactly right. So
I
here's a little trick for you. You can bring a calculator with you, and then eventually it becomes easy. It becomes second nature. But look at any food that you're eating. Yeah, you're 190. You haven't eaten since yesterday. Well, you had raisins at 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty high. Anything above 180, you're beyond the renal threshold, which means that your kidneys, because your body knows that glucose is important, just as fat is and just as protein is. So what happens is that your kidneys reabsorb and recycle glucose, and it pushes it back into the system. What's happening is above 180, you pass that renal threshold mark, and you start urinating sugar, and that's why you're urinating so much, and that's why you're thirsty, because you urinate so much. You're dehydrating your cells, so your cells are dying, telling you we need water, so you need to drink water, and then you pee again because you have that water in you, and then you go in this vicious cycle of drinking, peeing. So once we get the insulin level and the blood sugar levels down, that will stop. Okay, and you'll be able to sleep through the night without having to get up and pee. Okay, that's just one of the
Oh, that would be a dream because I get up 3 or 4 times sometimes.
and I hear it like up to 6 times sometimes from people. So you're right in that mark, and that's destroying your sleep cycle. So another thing we need to work on is sleep. And I know this is a lot of information I'm throwing at you. So and that's why I think it's good for you to be in the group, because you can read through a lot of the posts that Joey put up, and you'll be able to hear from other people that experiences what worked for them, what didn't work for them. So that'll help fast track your progress also. If it worked for something, that's something for you to try. If it didn't work for something, you can decide on trying it, see if it works for you, or you might just bypass that. Okay. So every week we have a session that works on health. Like tonight is going to be about stress reduction, reducing stress. It sounds
Ooh,
like
okay.
high stress. High stress will also make you a diabetic. High stress, what that does is it releases fat because it prepares you for fight or flight. And it doesn't matter what kind of stress you have. It could be stress from not knowing how you're going to pay the bills. It could be a stress if somebody pulls a gun on you. It could be stress from somebody yelling at you. All this stress does the same thing. Your body just creates energy so you can run away from it or you can fight it. But we can't run away from our psychological stress. It's always
Yeah.
with us if you keep thinking about it. So we need to get your mind off of it. And we also need to put your body in a calm state so that it can repair itself. When you're in a stressed out state all the time, your body is destroying itself and you get sicker and sicker and sicker. Okay. So we need to get out of that. We need to get you into a calm state so that your body can start building and repairing and growing where it should be.
Okay, so that's today at 7.
7:30. It's gonna be 8:30 your time.
Oh, and let me
Because
put
you're
right
in
here,
Georgia.
8:30 p.m. because I want to
Mhm.
be on that. And is that going to be on Facebook?
No,
No, sorry. Go ahead.
it'll be on Zoom. So Joby will
Okay.
send out the link. This is going to be for your neck and shoulders because a lot of people carry their stress in that area. So that's all we're going to focus on. Last time we focused on your hips because of sciatic nerve. I don't know if you have sciatica with the extra weight on you, but that's what we did last time with her. So every week we have something. So this week we have stress management with the yoga, with the stretching and everything, stress management. Last week we had my brother's professional chef, as I said earlier. So he helps you with cooking. We'll do follow along cooking. Well, I don't know if you'll want to do that right now, but you can watch. Most people cook along with my brother. So if they have any questions along the way, my brother can answer the questions. And then you'll see, we talk about the food and nutrition, why we're using certain products, things like that.
What I need to know now is, can you give me a day of what to eat so I can take it from there and start?
Let's make this very general right now. Any kind of meats, except for processed meats, no sausages, no bacon.
Oh, meet my husband.
Hello, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? How was IHOP?
Sir?
How was IHOP?
Oh, it was awesome, awesome.
I thought you were that. His name is Alexander, and I know if I go through a little hell, he's gonna have to go with me.
I'm sorry, buddy. Don't hate me. You'll get the results soon, I promise, and things will get back to normal. Okay, so meats, anything at the butcher shop, make sure that it's either grass-fed, and there is grass-fed pork. You get pork chops out there, and you have ground pork if you want to make like a meatloaf or whatever. So that's what I usually use. I usually use 50% grass-fed beef and 50% pork to make it the flavor in there. Okay. My brother's going to help you out. Flavor is the number one thing that diabetics complain about. And the reason behind that is because our bodies crave three different things. They crave sugar, fat, and salt. So if you get rid of the sugar, you have to increase the fat and the salt, but you have the high blood pressure. So the only thing we'll be able to do is we can put spices in there and we can put some fat in there. Okay. And spices, from what Jovi's experiencing with the people that she's helping out with food, is that people enjoy the meal because it's got the spices, it's got the flavor, it's not bland. That's the number one problem people have with diets, because it's bland. So we're trying to combat that by making it flavorful and healthy at the same time.
How funny that you say that, because I work for a company that sells natural and organic spices. It's called Watkins 1868.
Oh, very good. So
From
now you get
A to Z,
right.
Yeah. Wow.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have a lot of inflammation. I say that only because of the amount of body fat they have on you. The more body fat you have, the more inflammation you have. Inflammation is the root cause of type 2 diabetes. So we need to get rid of the inflammation. To do that, we need to get rid of the fat. But we have to do it right. We need to keep your muscle up, because that keeps your metabolism up. When people complain about having slow metabolism, it's because they don't have very much muscle on them. So another thing that we do is I lead everyone through a workout session. And right now you would probably only be able to do upper body, because it sounds like your legs are hurting until you start losing weight. And once you start losing weight, you'll be able to do the full body stuff. So we do that every Sunday, and we'll do it once or twice on Wednesdays during the month that we have sessions. Sometimes I have a doctor on, like next Wednesday, I'll be talking about fasting. And then the following Wednesday, I have a doctor that I'll be talking about fasting and what she's experienced with her patients with the fasting. So I'm always trying to give you guys information to make better health decisions so we can reverse this. Okay. So don't fear your doctor of saying that
my doctor is not going to help me. So I'm just going to see if I can change doctors. And if not, I'm just going to pray for guidance, because I have to do something. I have to do this somehow, you know.
Right. And it's possible. I mean, everybody in the group is getting results.
Exactly.
Okay. And I'm sure that Lupe would be more than happy to talk to you about how she did it, because she's done that before. You may have questions that I don't have an answer to, but Lupe does, because she experienced it. So experience takes over education, textbook education. So
what about vegetables and fruit?
Absolutely no fruit. What's happening is that fructose It's a sugar that's in fruit that goes directly to your liver. It sounds like you already have a fatty liver. So, and that's, you at the very minimum, you have a clogged liver because you have diabetes. So usually what happens is that you get fatty liver disease, and then you get pancreatic dysfunction, and then you get the diabetes. That's the order it usually goes in. Okay.
Oh,
So that's why I make the statement that you may not have fatty liver disease, but you definitely have a clogged liver, and your liver is the engine of your body. So if you take the engine out of a car, it doesn't work. If you clog up the engine with dirt, it doesn't work. So we need to get all that dirt out of your engine so it works properly again. Okay. So no fruit, absolutely none. I'm sorry, but even berries. I know that these say that berries are okay. Berries have fructose also. And I'm not
Okay.
saying this forever. I'm saying this until we get you back to feeling healthy again and getting those numbers down.
These don't either.
I would get rid of that as well. It's all chemicals. So what you can do is that you can go to the store and get a real lemon. It doesn't have to be organic because I believe because the rind is very thick. So
Yeah.
it's hard for the chemicals to get inside into the fruit itself. Actually, a lemon is a fruit. Lime is a fruit too. So you can have fruit. You can have those kind of fruits, but not typical that how we understand fruit is. The ancestors that we had, they did eat fruit, but their fruit was much more bitter than what we have today because today is genetically modified to make it sweeter. And the reason why they do that is that you constantly want that sugar so that you want to buy more. So it's all this marketing stuff that you don't know anything about until you start researching it. So I'm trying to fast track you in the last 22 years that I learned this stuff into hopefully 22 months, and then you'll be able to be a non-diabetic and have your weight under control as well. Okay.
But
So
all vegetables.
vegetables, I would say anything that's green. So the cruciferous foods. Cruciferous is broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. You can do asparagus, spinach. Spinach is huge that you can do. So anything that's green, you can do. Stay away from beans. And I know that a lot of people out there are saying that you can eat beans because of the protein content. But if you look at the back of the package of a bean, it's got way more carbohydrates than it does protein. And the protein doesn't absorb very well. Our bodies don't absorb protein from vegetables very well. This is why I'm kind of against vegetarians. Vegetarians usually have a belly on them because they still have fat on them, even though they're not eating any meat. Meat is, that's what made us evolve. That's how our brains exploded back like 7 million years ago to where we became top of the food chain, that we can think rationally and everything because of protein. Protein, our brain takes up 20% of what we eat. So it takes up a lot of energy. So if you're eating vegetables, you can't eat 3,000 calories of vegetables a day unless you're eating all day long. So you can get all these calories from the meat, and the meat's going to have the protein, and it's going to help you burn fat as well. Okay. It's going to help you not eat as much because it's going to make you feel fuller for a longer period of time. It's usually about 5 or 6 hours, whereas carbohydrates only make you feel full for about 2 to 3 hours, as we talked about earlier with your daughter. Okay, so stay away from starchy vegetables. So you can just Google starchy vegetables and it'll tell you. So stay away from those, like potatoes being number one, stay away from. Yeah, and I know potatoes, a lot of overweight people do the potatoes. Grits is another thing, and I know that that's popular in that culture, but that needs to be get rid of. So we need to look at alternatives. So there are some cereals, like Go Lean is a cereal. If you have to have cereal, I would have Go Lean. It's just spelled Go-Lean. Go Lean.
Yeah, I used to feed it to a patient that I used to take care of.
Okay.
Go Lean.
Yeah, because it's got a fair amount of protein in there, and the carbs are realistic. They're not like Wheaties. People think Wheaties and Cheerios and Special K, Raisin Bran are all healthy for you, but it's a ton of sugar. Going back to what I was going to tell you, a tip, if you want to write this down, you look at the back of the package, look at the total carbohydrates. It'll tell you off to the right-hand side. It'll say how many grams of carbohydrates. Multiply that number by 5, and that's how much your blood sugar level goes up. So if it's got 100 grams of sugar in it, your blood sugar goes up 500 milligrams. So you're not going to be at 190, you'll be at 690.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ouch.
So yeah, the carbs are really important. You need to look out for that. And don't worry about the whole net carbs saying that fiber reduces it and sugar alcohols reduce it. Don't worry about that. Just take the straight number that says the carbohydrates in the back and multiply that by 5.
Okay.
So that's how much damage this is doing to you. And that'll hopefully deter you from buying that product or eating that product.
But we can eat olives and cheese, you said. Okay.
You can
Any
get
cheese?
any cheese. Try not to get the processed cheese. So what I do is I get the blocks of cheese. I'll get a block of cheddar. I'll get a block of Swiss.
Okay.
Not the pre-sliced. None of that Kraft crap.
Not the shredded cheese. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of my clients was a food chemist for Kraft, and he told me one of the first days we were together, he said, never ever eat a Kraft product because I know what goes into it. So their jobs are to make it
Okay.
look like food and taste like food and smell like food. That's what their jobs are, but it's all
Okay.
chemicals. Okay, stay away from Kraft or any of those major companies, Kellogg's, anything major. So you want to go to the smaller brands. Like Go Lean is not a huge conglomerate company. It's more of a smaller company. So I would kind of trust their product a little bit more.
And don't drink the protein in either, the protein from that doctor either.
I don't know. I would always recommend protein.
It's whey protein.
And that's what I recommend also. But there's different types of whey protein. Some of them absorb better than others. So I don't want you wasting your money on something that's you're flushing down the toilet because it doesn't absorb into your cells. So the stuff that Jovi and I use is a little bit more pricey, but the bioavailability, meaning that it absorbs into your cells, is much, much higher. So
Okay.
I use a different kind. Okay, so yeah, I would stick to, because I know that you're on a limited budget, just stick to the whey protein that you're on right now. Just any protein is better than no protein. Okay, so your main focus is focusing more on protein and fat. So those are all your meats, your cheeses, your olives.
And changing all the rest. Okay.
And seeds. You can do seeds, nuts. But remember, nuts come with a lot of calories. So if you're sitting around not doing much and you eat a handful of Brazil nuts, that's like 200, 300 calories that you're not using because you're just sitting there. So you have to take that in consideration as well.
Okay. The thing that we eat the most is peanuts, but
Peanuts, what happens is there's, and this is starting to get more into science. Remember I told you there's good fats and there's bad fats. Peanuts have, and every fat product has both of these. Omega-3, I'm sure you heard of, because your doctor is telling you to take omega-3. And then the counter of omega-3 is omega-6. So our bodies need both of them, but it needs to be in a good proportion. Peanuts, the omega-6 is way up here, and then omega-3 is down here. It needs to be more like this or like this. So you have way too much omega-6 in peanuts, so that's causing more inflammation in your body. You already have.
I eat a lot of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So I would do, like personally, what I do is I do pistachios, I do pecans, Brazil nuts, I'll do almonds. Do not do cashews because that's a fruit.
Oh, okay. You said pistachios, almonds.
Walnuts.
Oh, one I like. Okay, and pecans.
So those are the ones that, or Brazil nuts too, because I have a feeling your thyroid is pretty slow if you're gaining this much weight this quickly. So Brazil nuts, they have a thing in there, a nutrient in there called selenium. Selenium helps boost up the production of thyroid hormones. So don't eat too much of it. You only need like 2 or 3 because they carry a lot of selenium. You don't want too much. Remember, we need everything in balance. Too much is not good and too little is not good. So I would not do any more than 3 Brazil nuts a day, personally. So you could talk to your doctor about that, but your doctor probably wouldn't know anything about that.
My doctor knows nothing about what we're talking about at all. She probably didn't have the slightest idea.
Okay. So unfortunately, I'm sorry that you're stuck with that doctor right now. Hopefully you can change that around and get to a different one. Or Joey, can you get Lupe to see if maybe you can transfer to a different place that you go to a doctor. Maybe you go where Lupe goes and you go to her doctors. It might be an option. I don't know.
So Chris, Sarah's in Georgia.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I
Yes.
can research, and if not, you know, I have enough people that know enough, so they can help me. You know,
Okay.
besides you, I'm not saying, and whatever I'm going to do, I will ask Joby first. You know, I'm planning on doing this or that, so she can know. You know, and I won't
Okay.
do nothing goofy or anything anything that could cause anything else. But I, like you say, I have enough right now for a good start.
Okay. The other thing is I would try to be religious, and it's going to take a little while for it to be a habit, because once you do something repetitively, it becomes a habit. You don't even think about it. You just do it. Sort of like brushing your teeth. It's like, it's just a habit. You don't think, say, hey, I got to brush my teeth every single day. You just do it. So try to prick yourself in the morning like you are before you have anything to eat. So 8:30 like you're doing now, but then do it again before you go to bed, like right before you go to bed every single day. And write down those numbers, write down the dates, the time, and the number, whatever your blood sugar level is at. And we're going to
Okay.
keep a record of that. So get like a piece of paper or notebook and just write down every single day. So we can write a graph and we can see what's happening. Because this is the only way we can know what's going on with your health is by doing blood work. So if we can see the blood sugar going down, then we know that you're getting healthier. If it's going up, we need to make some changes.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Well, it was great meeting you. Thank you for giving this a try.
Oh, thank you for your time. Yes, sir. I really, like I said, I appreciate any help that I can get.
Absolutely. So not only me, but you've got the whole group to ask questions too. So
Yes.
every Wednesday, and if you want to join on Sundays, which I highly recommend, even if you do sitting in a chair, just doing your upper body stuff, that any kind of movement is going to help you no matter what. Because if you're just sitting around, your body doesn't burn many calories. Moving around, you're going to burn. The more you move around, the more calories you're going to burn. So
Yeah, and my legs are very swollen. So, I mean, you know, that's what Joby was saying, probably because I'm not moving as much.
they even found people that fidget burn more calories because you're moving. So tap your foot while you're sitting, while you're doing whatever you're doing. If you're working, tap your foot. Move around, move your body around a little bit in your upper body, your torso. Any kind of movement is going to make you burn a little bit more calories. Okay. And then when you start losing the weight, your knees will feel better. I'm not going to say they're going to feel like when you were 25 years old, because you don't have any cartilage between the bones anymore. So they're both grinding each other, and eventually you'll probably need a surgery. And I would look into that one, the cushion thing, and I can't remember the name of it. But you could do some research in knee surgeries, replacements and stuff.
Okay.
All right. Well, I look forward to you feeling much better very quickly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Okay, I've got a client at 11 o'clock, which I'm a little late for. So I'll
Oh, I'm
sign
sorry.
up.
Okay.
That's right. I'll see you. What's today? Oh, I'll see you tonight.
Oh, 8:30. Okay. Yeah.
8:30 time. Right. So we're just going to be doing neck and shoulder stretches and stuff to help release the tension.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Jovi, I'll talk to you later tonight.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.